What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Silent Hill 2 Remake gameplay for you. And today I'm going to go over a plethora of all the Silent Hill news we've had. And we've had a lot, and I'm sorry that it took me a while to get to it, but unfortunately, right when we heard all this stuff, it's also when all the Resident Evil hoopla came out as well. So yeah, there is a thing of having too many things is not necessarily a good thing, but nonetheless, let's get into the big news that Silent Hill 1 is getting a remake and is in development by the BlooberTeam. Now, I think this is by far the right decision to do going forward because you got to remake 1 before you can get to 3. I know there's a conversation whether they should do 1 or 3, but definitely 1 for obvious reasons. Obviously, with the story, 1 and 3 are a lot more connected, so it wouldn't make sense to do 3 while missing the piece of 1. So I'm happy to see that. And what's crazy is that this is not even the only title that BlooberTeam is going to be working on. They're obviously doing the other brand new IP survival horror, Chronos: The New Dawn, which I'm also excited for. So it's kind of funny, before last year and Silent Hill 2 Remake came out, BlooberTeam was kind of looked down upon, and now a lot of people are really excited to see what they have to offer with these games they're going to be working on, remakes for Silent Hill as well as a brand new IP. And if they can nail both of those, man, it's going to be one of those stories you tell. It's like, damn, I remember when BlooberTeam was not necessarily a development that people looked up to or even cared too much about, and kind of looked down upon to a degree. Not that they made terrible games, but they didn't really make that game or so that really stood out and really kind of put them on a map. And now, if they can get this process done, that's definitely going to be one of those stories you look back on. Damn, they really came from the bottom, and now they're basically on top of the mountain. So I wish them the best of luck there. But now let's transition to the brand new Silent Hill game that's coming out the 25th of September in SilentHillF. And I don't know what it is, I just always like this image. But we had a little bit more information about SilentHillF, and we got a few more gameplay footage, a few images here. And I have my theories about Hinako and her constant clothes constantly being ripped and bloodied up over time. We've seen it where it's just her sleeve or it's her back or all together. I'm going to save that more for another video, but I also think it has a little bit to do with possibly, and this is me speculating, with the HUD that we had revealed. Is we actually had the HUD of SilentHillF revealed in this latest footage, and it's got me a little interested, but also a little bit fearful. So we have the HUD here, which seemingly has a health bar, I guess a stamina bar underneath it, a flower gauge on top of it, and it looks like a moon on the left of it. Now, me personally, I don't mind the health bar so much. The stamina gives me a lot of PTSD because I do not like stamina gauges, especially in survival horror games. It just gives me that Evil Within vibe where I did not like that. And here we have another image here. And if you notice that the flower gauge is something that you apparently can increase, because I've seen it a little bit bigger than usual. So what I'm wondering, and I guess it's a little bit of my theory, is I'm wondering if that flower gauge is connected to Hinako's outfit in terms of how it gets ripped up. Is that part of the corruption? And this is just me guessing. I don't know. But it definitely is something that I guess we're going to have to wait till the game comes out now, unless they basically reveal it later on. But the stamina gauge is something I'm definitely worried about. But there is one thing I've heard a lot of people mention with the HUD. That's the fact that the HUD apparently bars a resemblance to Souls-like games. And we've heard that this combat is a lot more challenging than a lot like Silent Hill 2 Remake. And seeing some of how the enemies move and how fast and sporadic they can be, it's made people give the impression that, is a combat going to be like a Souls-like game? And for that, once again, that's the thing about survival horror games. It's hard to gauge them based on what other people say or how they're describing it, because it's one of those type of genres where you'll only really know until you put the controller in your hand, until you get that feel. So for me personally, I don't have a problem with challenging combat, because that's half the battle of any survival horror game, is learning how the world works and stuff. And I know that the combat has never been a big deal for Silent Hill, whether they want to put a little bit more emphasis on it, as long as it's not something where like the characters are running around a lot like, I guess, Leon S. Kennedy or something like that. So I don't mind it being more challenging, but would I want it something like, you know, Souls-like? As I said before, I'm one of those people who's like, I'm up for anything because I'm not going to know until I have it in my controller in the hand. And obviously SilentHillF is obviously taking a few chances here. One of the biggest ones we already know is that it's not taking place in the town. I know a lot of people were up in arms against that. So if you are going to do some chances and take some differences, liberties with some things, I have no problem with it as long as it delivers to a satisfying, enjoyable game. Because we know that half the fun of any Silent Hill game is, you know, the story and the characters and figuring out how many double, deeper meanings there are with a lot of things. So I know combat is one of those things in the history of the franchise has never been a highlight, and on purposely so. You know, purposely so. It's supposed to be rough and rugged, so having a little challenging, maybe there can be that satisfaction of overcoming some of those challenges, but we're not going to know, unfortunately, until we get the game in our hands. So I'm all for, and I'm interested and invested to see what they're doing, because I feel like they have the best of intentions. We'll see how it plays out, but overall, it doesn't, I guess it worries a little bit, but not in terms of I think it's going to be bad or anything. It's just going to be something a little bit different, but I'm all for it, and we're going to see how it pans out. Because they definitely did a lot of their work in a lot of the designs, the world, the environment. I like a lot of the enemy designs, you know, finding the beauty within the terror. And I'm all for that. I cannot wait to it, as I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in details and some things in later videos about the enemy designs as well as the main character and characters and what I think they're going to try to do with the story. But I'm going to save that for another time, because now I want to get on to the last bit of Silent Hill news, or I guess lack of any news, because I know a lot of people were looking forward to the possible reveal of the Born From a Wish DLC, that is the thing from Silent Hill 2. We didn't get any update or information on it. I've heard from some inside people that they assume this thing is going to be worked on and it might be revealed or not. We don't know. We don't have any 100% confirmation. Do I personally feel like it will be made? Here's how I look at it, and I'm just guessing, I'm speculating. I do think there's a good chance it could be made, but I think it'll be a little while before it comes out, just because I don't think they were going to plan on making it originally, just because they didn't know how Silent Hill 2 Remake was going to turn out. Because remember, before the game came out, there was a lot of people that thought this was going to be terrible. This was going to be, you know, a disaster. And when it finally was revealed, it shocked a lot of people when it was released, and a lot of people loved the game, but that was after the fact. And the sales have been really good compared to sales in the franchise. This is the fastest selling Silent Hill game of all time by a mile. I don't know the current numbers of it off the top of my head right now. I know it's over 2 million units, but so my, I guess, theory is that with Born From a Wish, I feel like that's something that they may have decided well after the fact. So it might be longer along in terms of the development process, if they're even making it itself, because I don't 100% know. I just go by what some people might say that have some inside information. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. We don't know. But if it does come out, I think it's going to be a little ways out. But it would be cool to see, because as I said, they did an excellent job with Silent Hill 2 Remake. So overall, it's an amazing thing to say, but Silent Hill is officially back. And we now have Silent Hill games releasing remakes and brand new titles, alongside Resident Evil games releasing remakes and brand new titles. What a great time to be a Silent Hill fan. But as I always like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. How do you feel about all this brand new Silent Hill news? Are you happy that Silent Hill 1 is getting a remake? Are you happy about what you see with SilentHillF? Are you interested to see what they do with the combat? Because that's definitely going to be a little bit different than most of the Silent Hill games, as well as other Silent Hill games in the past. And are you someone that thinks Born From Wish is going to be made eventually, or is it going to take some time, or maybe it's no chance at all? Let me know down below, but thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.
Anyway, I haven't seen